Welcome to Meat and Cigars. Today we are going to be trying out some sausages and we're going to be smoking some cigars from Montecristo. On my left here I got Herman Dheil. Herman, do you enjoy sausages?
I'm enjoying these sausages here, yes.
This sounds very familiar. I'm having a deja vu moment. You having a deja vu moment?
Definitely a big time sausage fest. Big time.
Great movie, by the way. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. It's like watching Pornhub without actual people. Especially the ending. It's very good. It's very good. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that movie.
You're
and
really,
I don't know
you've
if
never
I
watched
want to
Sausage
know
Fest?
about that. No.
You've never watched Have you watched Sausage Fest?
A movie without people, did you say?
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
Okay, now I remember hearing something about it. There's a cartoon where everyone in the cartoon's a sausage. Yeah, I remember something about that.
Before I introduce Mike here on my right, I'd like to stop moving the thing. It makes noise. I'd like to say that I actually forgot to press record. So we've been doing this for an hour and a half already.
It was a warm-up.
We are warmed up right now. Let me tell you.
The preview.
So we got Mike Giordano here on the right. He brought the wine La Pistolina. We've talked about this already, so we're going to talk about it again.
Tune into the unrecorded part.
Yes, the unrecorded part is really good. It'll be coming never. But yes, tell us, Mike, about the Pistolina again. Thank you.
Well, it's known to convert non-wine drinkers to wine drinkers. There we go.
I'm converted.
I'm delayed.
Amen.
Or corrupted. Converted or corrupted.
Oh, my God, I forgot to press record.
Again?
No, it's going now.
2016 Napa Valley Cabernet.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's very easy to drink and it's very tasty.
It is delicious. The bouquet is delicious, and like you said, it is opening up. In the part we didn't record, we were talking about how it opens up as it goes along. I actually don't want to drink it now. I want to leave it to open because the flavor is actually becoming a little bit different. So that is an experience I personally have never had. Well, then again, I don't drink that much wine. I think we talked about this.
Well, what we didn't say is that, to our knowledge, it's probably the only bottle of wine that has a firearm on it.
Yes.
Yes. With scotch tape around it.
Now tell us
on the
about
handle.
the motivation of putting a handgun that looks like you're going to do a mafia hit from The Godfather.
Well,
by the way, my favorite movie in the world.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The story goes. So when my grandfather came over from Italy, in the
I would have never guessed with a last name like Giordano that you
yeah.
came from Italy.
Exactly.
That's a shocker.
Or Ireland. It's either Italian or Irish.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of skirmishes in the streets between the Irish and the Italians. The Italians got there first. The Italians came second after the Irish, and basically, they were dealing with all of that in the streets. There's a lot of movies that have been made about it.
Absolutely.
And he would talk to us about this Pistolina, which is a little handgun, and we just we never grew up around guns or anything like that, and we would hear this story, and he pretty much conveyed that he found it one day, and he kept it by his side, and we don't really know what he did with it, but it always seemed to keep the peace, and I figured we would...
It tends to do that. And fire gun, if Danny was here right now, he'd be like, see, I told you, man, I told you guns are good. See? He loves guns. He loves guns.
Yeah, so this is just paying a little homage to that.
Absolutely.
And it looks cool, too. It's got this mysterious look to it. There's not much to the label other than the gun, and
I love it. I loved it right away when I saw it. I like things that stick out like that. And then definitely the history, and then obviously, like you said, if you're from Italy, or if you know anything about Italy, or if you ever watched a mafia movie or The Sopranos or anything like that, I mean, you don't need to explain that much why the gun has tape at the end, right? What about you, Herman?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to explain that, but it's just interesting to know that that's what they used to do. And
absolutely,
and like I said earlier, there's probably a lot of guns with tape in the Hudson River.
Yes, we talked about this, didn't we?
We did.
and the unrecorded part of it.
We did. And that sausage, I don't know why. I look at that sausage and I think it's going to be sweet. But
What?
no.
What? Why not?
Because it looks like...
One
it
of them
looks
has
like
truffle. in it.
one of those
Try
pastelitos.
it. Pastel de guayaba.
Yeah, like I don't know why that skinny one's reminding me
Well,
of
you
that.
should try it. You should, It's never too late to put a skinny sausage in your mouth. Go for it.
Which one was the truffle?
I think it's that one. If
Which
I'm not
one?
mistaken.
I'm just going to...
No, it's not that. It's that one.
The
I
middle
think.
one?
Yeah, the middle one. So we have a clitoria here of different sausages. In this episode, we're doing the sausage, the different types. We have the spicy sausage. We have the blood sausage. We have the bratwurst. Can you pronounce that? I don't know how to read.
Bratwurst.
We have
Bratwurst.
Bratwurst. Okay, we got a cheddar bratwurst. And we have, I wrote this down because I'm never going to remember in a billion, trillion years. The pork sausage from Argentina. We all know that one. That's a good one. And then we have the spicy one. And where's the truffle one? I know the truffle one. Oh, yeah. It's uncured truffle bratwurst. So that should be pretty good. And then we're going to smoke a little bit later on today. Hopefully, I'll record that. And that one will be the Montecristo. I got this little pack here. It's a great pack. I think it was like $50. It's a good price for Montecristo at Stogie Cigars in Kendall. Big shout out to Ichem. He's the new owner. Mike, you've met the old owner, Mario, right? You were telling me a little bit earlier today.
He was an enigma.
He was
sure.
an enigma. He was Argentinian, but he was cuckoo for Cuckoo Pops. I guess that's the technical term for it. Well, yeah, he was quite a character. He had a lot of events. He was all over the place. One day the cigar would be worth $10, and the next day would be worth like $80.
How does that happen?
It depends how much money he needed that day. He was very generous when he had money, and when things were going slow, he would charge the prices.
Wow.
But he was a very nice guy. He always treated me
He
really
reserved
well.
the right to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. He owned his own business. You can do whatever you want. And he did have quite a bit of a following. A lot of people used to go over there.
Oh, yeah, he was there for a long time.
And where was this?
In Kendall, it is actually
Stogies of Kendall.
11612 North Kendall Drive. It's in a shopping center.
Okay. Probably been there.
Yeah, they have a huge selection, and they have at the end, all the way at the back, they have a cigar area you can sit down and smoke. That's basically where all the married men go to escape their wives when they're in trouble. They just go back there and,
I thought the golf course was for that.
That too. But now the golf course is, as you know, Messi has taken it over. As you can see, I'm wearing the Miami 305 Messi team. And he destroyed my favorite golf course. You play golf, Mike?
I haven't in a long time, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I play every full moon, but I did like going to that particular golf course quite a bit.
Why on the full moon and not the new moon?
I don't know. That's a good question. The full moon? I don't know. That's a good question.
I like to go to the drum circle
Yeah.
on the full moon.
I bet you do. With the sausage, right?
Not a sausage circle, drum circle.
Have you been to Drum Circle? Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit.
In South
Tell me a little
Beach,
bit
in
about
Miami
that.
Beach, they have it. Whenever the full moon comes up, there's one on First Street. They usually do like a yoga, sound meditation thing.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
They do the
They do that. And then up by 72nd, I believe it is, it becomes like a big party, full moon. When the
I've
new
heard a
moon
lot of
comes
things
out.
about vibration. Like the vibration makes you feel good, and it can actually cure things. I know bee people that are what do they call the people that take care of bees. They have a name, a technical name.
Beekeepers.
Beekeeper?
No, that's not it. It's a one scientific name. But anyway, so they are actually studies of beekeepers. They actually are healthier than the average person. They will actually
Because of the frequency that
because
the
of the
bees
frequency
emit.
of the bees, which is crazy. I have a
Intriguing.
I actually have he's a cousin in Argentina that he actually keeps bees all over the place, and he actually won awards. He won the best honey. I brought a suitcase full of honey. Is that right, baby? We brought a sucas. Bring a little jar so I can show it. My luggage. We were lucky to get through customs. I hope that customs is not watching or watches this show ever. So we brought it through. We were able to. Nobody stopped us, and it is amazing honey. The honey is just delicious. We'll try a little bit. We'll give everybody a little try on that.
Well, there is something about vibrations. I mean, like when I visit my dad, he has a condominium. He lives in a condominium, and in the gym there, they have a vibration plate. And I always try to get a workout in when I go.
They have a what?
A vibration plate. You stand on it, and you can do your workout while
You're vibrating.
you're vibrating.
Interesting.
And it's there's a lot of health benefits. It helps with health, wellness, building up muscle when you do an exercise with it. So there's a lot of good things with it. So it doesn't totally shock me.
No.
That if you're around bees and all their buzzing all the time, you get a health benefit from it. That actually makes sense to me.
Well, I don't know exactly who started the study or how the study was developed or how it was controlled, but that's what they say. That's what I heard. But yeah, so before I forget, since we did not record at the beginning, because I'm a dodo, Mike, tell us a little bit about your products you have for your cigars. Here, bring it over. Come bring it over.
Well, we are a designer, importer, and distributor of all things cigar accessories.
Wow.
So anything you can think of.
What's the name of the company?
Quality Importers Trading Company is the parent company. Xikar is a 25-year-old accessory company that we have acquired in the beginning of 2018.
This is my favorite product so far.
I'm actually a big fan of this one. I actually have it. I have it in this color, and I have it in black because why not? And you were telling us this was used in one movie?
That's the XI1 cutter. That's the flagship cutter for Xikar, and that was used in the Superman movie where Kevin Spacey played Lex Luthor.
Yes, absolutely.
See, but this is the V cutter. I like when it gets cut this way, the cigar.
I'm sure
There's
you do.
less stuff coming out of the cigar. I think it's a better cut.
If you say so. I'm
The V cut is extremely popular.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could definitely find that everywhere. In all the different cigar places in Miami, pretty much, right? You guys
nationwide.
Nationwide.
And
oh, nice. Nationwide, guys.
Also internationally as well.
Cool. Do you guys sell these products in Cuba too? I'm curious.
No.
Not Cuba, right? We're not allowed.
Not that international.
Yeah, just like we can't smoke Cuban cigars either.
We don't have Danny here to explain how Cuba is. He just came back from Cuba, and he didn't have positive, I think, in general, with the food and the just. But I think eventually it's going to happen. I think the Italians are going to go back there and build some casinos or something. It's going to happen.
Does
eventually.
Italy have a lot of? I know Spain has huge investments in Cuba. Do you know if Italy does or
it doesn't? Not
it
like
doesn't.
Spain.
Not like Spain.
Not right now.
Right now, China's got the biggest investments in it.
China's everywhere. China's everywhere, man.
Well, China's communist, supposedly, like Cuba's supposed to be communist, although it's not. It's authoritarian, but anyway.
I don't know what. Honestly, I at this point I don't understand. It's communist with socialist with capitalist.
Communism is
like
just a
mixture.
cover. That's just a cover so
It's
that
definitely a
an
dictatorship.
authority.
Now that this guy became
the communism is to cover, but the reality is it's authoritarian. That's the reality of it.
But
they
they're
use
investing.
communism
But they
as
have
a
so
selling
much
point.
money. They're investing. I saw a documentary about they're going to Africa and these really poor African countries. I don't know which of the countries they were going to, but they were going to several. And they would build bridges and roads and power plants and for the exchange for land and things like that. But I mean, it's billions and trillions of dollars they're investing, obviously for the future, And Africa, unfortunately, the resources are being taken over, to make batteries and things like that. You've probably seen documentaries and podcasts about it. But yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Now, going back to Cuba, I've always said, is a sleeping giant in the Caribbean. The moment Cuba wakes up and the market becomes accessible, it's like 20-minute, 30-minute flight from Miami. It's a huge island. It doesn't have that much pollution because it hasn't been used. The beaches haven't been used. All you need is the infrastructure. Once you start building, like Cancun, they start building the beautiful hotels and the resorts and this and that.
Yeah, it'll probably be very bad for Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, Dominican Republic. I mean, a lot of people will stop going to those
absolutely
places to vacation, and they'll go to Cuba.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. I don't think. I think it will kill the Caribbean. Let me tell you, if Haiti and Jamaica right now are poor, I don't want to see what's going to happen. We'll probably have a second Marielito from all these Caribbean islands that are going to come to Miami because they're going to start with that. Have you been to Jamaica yourself?
Yeah.
What'd you think? Did you go to the city or did you just stay in the resorts?
I just stayed in the resorts when I went, yeah.
Smart man. I made the mistake of going, I want to see how people live. And, I don't want to see it anymore. It was not pleasant. It was a while back. I don't know right now how they are, but it was not good. The poverty is South America is poor. Caribbean is way under there. I mean, it's
and Haiti's even worse.
Oh, no, Haiti is...
Yeah.
Haiti's horrible.
I mean, I went to a portion of Haiti when I went on a cruise, and it wasn't really Haiti. It was an area bought out by the cruise lines, and you don't see the real Haiti at all. Well, same with Dominican Republic. When I went, you don't really see the poverty.
But the Dominican Republic, even though it's the same island, which my ignorance is huge, but for years I thought they were separate. I thought Haiti was an island, Republic of Dominica was an island. I had no idea they were together. And then when I found out they were together, I was like, oh my God. And they literally have like a wall separating them.
Yeah.
And then Haiti gets all the earthquakes. Dominican Republic, it gets no earthquakes. It's almost crazy. It looks like on purpose.
Yeah.
But I've been to places in like Casacampo in Dominican Republic.
Oh yeah, big cigar. Were you there for like a cigar?
Were you there? It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like that rivals anywhere in the United States, anywhere in Europe.
Casacampo is definitely.
It's beautiful. You got it.
Casacampo is a town, or
Casacampo is an area. It has a hotel, but then it has like private homes. But it's like Coco Plume private homes. It's ridiculous.
They do a lot of cigar manufacturing over there as well.
Yeah. Well, they have Arturo Fuente, which is one of my favorite cigars. We talked about this before. And we went to Alto del Bajon, Chavo del Bajon.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous view, gorgeous structure. I mean, it's just beautiful, It's you can't really compare to the other parts of the Dominican Republic, but it's just gorgeous. You don't expect that to be there. To that level. I mean, it's a very high level. And then the service, the food, everything was really nice. So I definitely, and the cigar, of course, I was in heaven. I was like, I was running around like a little kid, in a candy store. I loved it. You've never been to Dominican Republic?
I have.
Where'd you go?
Like I said, I went on my way to Cuba. I stopped by at the airport.
Okay.
When I lived in Puerto Rico. This was way back like in 95. So the plane stopped in Dominican Republic, didn't see anything, and then took off. But then I went on a cruise, and we stopped in Dominican Republic as well. And, Dominican Republic and Haiti. And, you just don't really see the poverty.
No.
I hear though, it's way better than Haiti.
Oh, no, way better. But you can't even compare. It's not even comparable. I mean, it literally seems like they're not even in the same island.
Yeah,
and the tragedy too, because unfortunately they had a lot of earthquakes for some reason in that part of the island, which I would imagine if an earthquake is, it should be the whole island, not just an area, but it's just that island. So anyway, moving on, we got the honey here that we contrabanded from my cousin in Argentina. Best honey in Argentina. Here, I'll give it a go. See what you think. He won Best Argentina for like 2-3 years in a row. He does barrel this. He's got guys that come from Dubai in a private plane and pick it up. It's insanely good.
Wow.
And I was reading the other day that you can actually have like a spoon of honey daily, and it has all these benefits. Now, funny thing with honey is that
See, it looks like apple cider.
it's pretty good, right?
Yeah. it
Don't
is.
need any more. I don't have enough. I'm not going back to Argentina till November. I'm going to try to contraband more. So, yeah, it's amazing, beautiful, delicious. I mean, it's one of those things that you can eat, and it's not, it's not that overpowering sweetness and stuff like that. That's probably why it's in the Bible. It's milk and honey. So there are two items that you can get unlimited amount without killing the resource. But everything else, to acquire whatever you're acquiring, you have to destroy something. Where honey and milk is an unlimited amount.
As long as the cow's alive,
Yes,
and as long as the bees continue to make their honey.
you're good. You're
Yeah.
good to go. And then, of course,
Never thought about it that way.
We don't want we don't want the bees to leave, because based on, I think it was Einstein that said that the moment the bees go, we all go. The planet is kaput.
Probably.
Yeah, because there's nobody pollinating the flowers, and that's it. There's no more flowers. There's no more tree. There's no more plant. Boop, we're dead. So, and there was a scare a while back about the honeys, about the bees disappearing. So people started, really working on bringing that back. So that was pretty cool. But that honey, man, I have it like it's gold. Like I don't even want to eat it. Like whenever I need to use honey, I'm thinking, should I use it or not? Maybe I should not use it. But I do let people try it. So what do you think of the honey?
It was good.
It's good.
It had a texture to it that I'm not familiar with honey, because
You know why?
What was that?
This is not processed honey.
Okay.
So this is real honey. So this honey, if you put it in baño de Maria, which is the pan of water, and then you stick this into the water, it will melt into the honey that the actual honey. If you don't do that, it'll eventually start to harden, and it'll get hard. And it'll actually, bring the one that maybe the one that's a little bit harder. The one that's like this, but it's harder.
Okay, so
it'll turn into it'll crystallize.
it'll crystallize if
Yes.
it's just left alone?
If it's just left alone, it'll crystallize.
Really?
Yeah, it has different stages. When you first get it right off the panel, it'll be like liquidy. But as time goes by, it'll get hard. In fact, in the Pharaohs,
Yeah, I heard about that.
Pyramids.
They found honey.
They found
from
honey.
thousands of years
It
ago, and it
never
was
goes
still
back.
good.
Yeah.
all you
But it
gotta
never
do
goes
is
back.
heat it up again, and boop, you got
Wow.
yourself some honey. Which I would love to try that. I mean, I could break into a
That's got to be
museum.
an expensive taste of honey. Somebody could charge a lot of money for that.
You know,
Like 4,000-year-old honey.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
I haven't had
Someone
a
could
brand
charge a
like
lot of money.
like an Egyptian honey brand, from the
Yeah,
pyramids.
somebody's going to find a big stash of honey from thousands of years
sure
ago
they already probably
and
did.
then sell the hell out of it. And people are going to pay $1,000 for a jar.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
totally see that
Absolutely.
happening.
Absolutely.
And then that jar's going to go on eBay and it's going to go up to 5,000, 10,000. That's going to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but I mean it's amazing, and the effect of honey that it has on the body. There's so many positives with it. Cognitive, cell regeneration, you name it. No, that one, the crystallized. Yeah. So we, obviously he had a bunch of jars there, but this one, if you can see the difference, basically one is clearer and the other one's darker. It's the same honey. But this one it's been, sitting a little longer. So the texture is completely different. Here, try a little bit, Mike. You do like honey, Mike. I'm not
Yeah,
forcing
yeah,
you to
sure.
eat honey.
Your
brain
brain
will
of
get-
surprised you're letting us.
It's just a little.
This
if
is
you notice,
hurting
the
you.
spoon is very small. So yeah, so they used to make candy out of this and stuff like that.
Even more texture. And
Yeah.
I mean, the color, I can't help but think it's apple cider.
Yeah. The problem
Is apple cider honey? Is honey
no,
apple cider?
comes from apple. It's the apple being
Right. It just looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
And it's still sweet, apple cider as well.
Yeah, but this is natural. This is 100% natural. I mean, it's insane, And the process that he uses is minimal. So as time goes by, it'll crystallize. So if you want to have the, stereotypical honey that you get at the supermarket, You got to heat it up.
What kind of time are we talking about? Like, how much longer will it take for that?
That's a good question.
More
I
crystallized?
don't know.
We're talking months, years.
These I brought from Argentina from November, and they were like this already. So they haven't really changed all that much. It might take a little longer, but all in all, if I give you a spoon of this one, I give you a spoon of this one, the only difference you're going to notice is the texture. The taste is exactly the same. I actually like it. I've always had, your typical, we get at Publix honey. So it's crazy, but it's delicious. I love it. Obviously, obviously I have a horse in it because it's my cousin, and he did win awards. So, but it's one of those things that it's very unique. It's very different. I even brought the actual beehive. He actually sells it in like a little square.
Where is it for sale? Where is it available?
It's nowhere. You can't get it anywhere.
He doesn't import to the United States?
I'll be back in November if you want to buy it. I'll bring
he doesn't export to here?
He literally has he'll sell like, the barrel, the aluminum barrel full of honey. He'll sell that to, whoever wants to buy it. And he was telling me like some guys from Dubai fly a private jet from Dubai he lives in the middle of nowhere. It's in Dolores. It's a little town in the middle of nowhere. It's far from everywhere. It's nowhere near the city. It's beautiful little town. It's where my grandmother, my mother came from. They're very humble, very down to earth. I mean, everything is wonderful. They're happy to see you every time, even if they don't like you. They do. They're very genuine people. Like most little towns are. Obviously, like little towns also, they know everything. The cousin,
a little bit nosy.
The neighbors, who's that?
They know everybody's business.
Oh, they know everything. And if they don't know, they'll invent it and make it more juicy. But yeah, so they'll fly in from Dubai into this little town and buy 4 or 5 barrels and take it back to Dubai. So you can tell. I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know about the quality of the honey. And of course, he has. There's something I didn't know. He has the beehives in different places. So he'll go to your bar, like you have a farm, and he'll go to your farm and tell you, "Do you mind if I put a beehive here?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And then he'll go to another barn or another farm.
No one charges rent?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
If you want to have your beehive here, you gotta, I have a fee.
Businessman. No, with him, it's not like that at all. So yeah, he really.
And does a different area, does that create a different type of honey?
I would imagine. I imagine you need to know where the queen and the bees are going to get the best flowers. And he has a piece of land that he has trees and flowers from all kinds of different flowers. So I can imagine that the different flower makes different honey. I didn't get that deep in it because I was only there for like 2 days. No, actually, we were there less than 2. We were 1 day, right? Horrible. I know.
Yeah, I like to eat the local honey because what they say when you eat the local honey, it prevents allergies.
Oh yeah, well that's what I was telling you all the benefit.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just Google the benefits of honey.
But when it's local to where you live, then you're preventing like getting allergies yourself, which is kind of cool.
I guess. I mean, I think all in all, at the end of the day, it's about the benefits of eating, like a spoon of honey a day. It's kind of like almost like medicine. But yeah, this I've never had. I love honey. That's one of my favorite things. I put honey on everything. On things you wouldn't normally put honey on. Like I put honey on hamburgers. I put honey on sausage. I mean, that came out wrong.
Have you put honey on sardines?
I don't know. I've never done that. But yeah. What's that, baby? What's that? What's that? Anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have any arthritis or
everything that you get starts from inflammation.
Yes. It's the cause of many metabolic diseases, without a doubt.
Yep. Yeah, that there's no illness that doesn't have some type of inflammation.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting to a part that we're going to smoke our cigars. We got some Montecristo
this
here.
I'm looking forward to.
Let's see what we got.
Just don't give me a strong one. I'm a little bit of a lightweight.
Okay, so we got here the classic. I think this is a Connecticut, or at least for the
that
wrapper.
one in the white label is going to be on the lighter side.
Here you go, darling. Softy. What would you like, Mike? What's your poison? That looks pretty
this
good.
is like a whole.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we got some Montecristos. Now, you've had Montecristo before, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, sure.
What's your favorite Montecristo? Do you have one, or it's just in general?
The typical go-to, if you come across it, the Cuban one is the number 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about that the other day. Do you think that they're actually grown and made in Cuba, or do you think that the tobacco is made somewhere else and then flown in and made, or what do you think of that?
Well, look, the authentic ones are made there, but I've been told by people in the business who are from Cuba, they said you can literally go to the factory and you could be given a counterfeit cigar because they're not necessarily making it as to the blend, because there's such a demand for it and there's so little material to make the production to meet the demand. So Habanos is the company that controls the cigar production from Cuba, and I believe China owns half of it.
Wow.
Now.
There we go, China again.
And the price of Cuban cigars has just skyrocketed into oblivion.
Really?
Yeah.
Which brands in particular, do you know?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you can go to a factory and it might be the whole factory is making fake cigars, basically.
Yeah, well, they're real cigars. It's just not the blend that the band says it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what blend do they put? Just any blend, whatever is accessible?
Yeah, well, I mean, the same thing with the way they ration the materials for farming. The magnesium that you need for the soil, the phosphorus that you need, when they actually get their hands on it.
Wow.
And they put it in. You're supposed to turn the soil.
Okay.
You plant tobacco, which grows like a weed. It grows very quickly. I think 9 months from seed to kind of harvest is what that is. And then they say you're supposed to plant something else, like maybe tomatoes or something like that. But what they do is they just keep planting. And
they kill the land.
There's been people who have spoken about the blue smoke that comes out of a Cuban cigar.
I've never heard that.
And
tell me more about that.
When I mentioned that, I said to one of the guys who are from Cuba who are making cigars in Esteli in Nicaragua, and they said, yeah, that's using all of your allocation of the fertilizer on your production, and basically it's all burning out while you're smoking it.
Oh man!
So I've never experienced the blue smoke, but
good.
that's
I
what
need a lighter real quick.
That's not good. You definitely don't want to be smoking fertilizer. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I've heard several stories. I've heard mixed reviews. Obviously, I love smoking cigars, so every now and then I go to different places, and the owners of the people that work there are always telling me, we're not sure. We're not sure if it's worth the price that it's worth because it's grown and comes from Cuba. So that's why I'm always hesitant to buy something that they say it comes from Cuba, but we don't know if it comes from Cuba.
Look, at the end of the day, it comes down to taste. If you like it, that's the best cigar for you.
I agree. Absolutely. 100%.
Totally.
And there's incredible cigars being made by families who are from Cuba who set up shop in either the DR in Honduras or in Nicaragua.
We talked about that.
And
we actually recorded that. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you know Camacho Cigars?
Christian?
And
his father?
Yeah. Eora, yeah. I used to hang out a lot with Christian. When he lived in Doral. His kids went to the same school my kids went to.
The Cubans, all the Cubans, they know each other. It's like them. It's like the Italians. It's like Kevin Bacon.
I think he's Cuban or
10
Italian.
degrees, 5 degrees. Everybody's related.
6 degrees.
6 degrees. Everybody's related to everybody. Everybody knows everybody. And then if they don't know it, they went to school. And if they went to school, it was their priest. And if they were their priest, they probably, got some kinky shit, probably.
Yeah, boy. Oh, boy.
What's that? Now, in your personal opinion, how long have you been smoking cigars?
Probably 15 years.
Okay. Had you never tried cigars before that, or was just something that you got into?
I mean, I've smoked cigars for longer than 15 years. I've been smoking cigars legitimately for about 15 years. I got into the business not having really known much about cigars, but the accessories being the non-tobacco part of the business. You don't necessarily. There's no prerequisite for that. However, if you're going to create accessories that are going to fulfill an experience for someone, namely a cigar smoker, you should smoke the cigars and understand what goes into it.
Absolutely.
If you're going to cater to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like wine. It's like anything business that you're in.
I mean, there's people in the cigar industry who are manufacturers of cigars who don't smoke.
Don't smoke cigars.
So, but they have people who do, who make them, who run the factory,
And smoke cigars.
who blend,
Yeah.
and they're the ones who are making it happen. And then the owners are.
I would prefer a guy that smokes cigars that has his own company that actually likes his own product versus
it depends on what you're doing.
That's what
It's
I would
like with a personal trainer. I mean, if you don't look the part, it's hard,
Kinda hard to believe that it works, right?
It's hard to sell the personal training. It's harder. If you look the part, it's definitely much easier.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Personal training, it's important.
I think so. I think in general, if you sell the product, I'm old school marketing, and when I worked in Pepsi or I worked in Budweiser, even when we had the account of McDonald's, which, I don't recommend anybody going to McDonald's nowadays, but, we used to eat McDonald's. At lunchtime, it was McDonald's time, because that was our product, that was our baby, and we went and did it. When I worked in Pepsi, I didn't drink Coca-Cola. I just didn't do it. My house was Pepsi. My shirt was Pepsi. My heart was Pepsi. Everything was Pepsi. And if anybody brought me a Coke, I'll be like, nah, I don't like that shit. Bring me a fucking Pepsi. Like, I'm not drinking that. That's horrible. You don't have Pepsi?
It's amazing how money can turn things.
I don't know about money. I think it's just the team. Like,
you want to be in alignment with what you're doing, but everybody does that, and that happens at deep subconscious levels as well.
Absolutely,
very deeply subconsciously, without realizing it. You're going to cater to a certain product or whatever because it's somehow aligned with your vision of yourself.
They've done studies about, they'll grab like 20 people and then they'll make a team of the red people and the blue people. And then 10 red, 10 blue. And then they'll put them into scenarios and stuff like that. And the red and the blue will start to like hate each other. And they're all friends. They all know each other. They're all, but then all of a sudden now I told you, you're from this side, you're from this side. All of a sudden they start hating each other. So it is definitely you are definitely involved in your purchase. If I tried this, I got to know you. It's a great wine. It helps, obviously. If it's a crappy wine, unfortunately I would have told you, it's okay. But no, it's a good wine. So
product always has to speak for itself. The relationship comes and it, because look, if you have a product and you're looking to launch a product on the market, it's pretty easy to make the first sale of anything.
Yeah.
But getting that second and third sale,
forget it,
that make the product a business is really where it comes from, because you can say, well, I opened up X amount of stores.
That's where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah, pretty much.
Funny story, I think it was a Dodgers uniform. Nike messed up so badly with the Dodgers uniform. It's like unbelievable. I heard on this podcast that, and Nike, in defense...
You're listening to other podcasts?
Yes.
Okay.
In defense, Nike executives were like, but we tested on some of our players. No, they tested on the players that Nike was already paying money to.
And they loved it.
And of course, this is Nike. Oh, I love it. It's the best shirt in the world. They were all saying that because, of course, they're getting paid by Nike. I mean, duh. And the uniforms for the Dodgers has been a complete nightmare, and they had to do away with the whole big commotion.
The team, actually, you know?
Yeah. I don't know much about the team, but I heard about their uniform catastrophe with Nike.
Catastrophic.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, definitely when you either work or you're involved with the product, whether the product's good or bad, you're definitely going to take sides. But I think that, like you say, when the product's good and then it has the quality in it, if it stands on its own merit and its own two legs, the second, third, and fourth, and, you know, up and coming. That's why I always, not always, but I was younger, I didn't really care. I'll be honest. I was looking for the big bucks. Now it's like, if it's not a quality product, if it's not something I really 100% get behind and I can give it to my friends and I feel comfortable talking about it, yeah, you know, I go after that one. There's not that many. I mean, as time goes by, the products get worse and worse and worse, you know.
Or maybe as we get older, we get pickier?
No. The products are getting worse, and it's all part of a plan.
Pickier.
It's all part of a plan. It was and I recommend you can look this up on YouTube. I think it's they were talking about Thomas Edison with the light bulb. There's a light bulb right now that's been on for the last, I don't know, 150, 170 years since they turned it on. That motherfucker hasn't broken. It's still going. Yet we all know that light bulbs don't last that long. That's done on purpose. They actually met in Niagara Falls somewhere, all these millionaires, and they were like, "Listen, dude, your light bulb lasts like 10 years. What? This product's too good. We can't make any money, and we can't sell a light bulb for like $100. So, you know, can you make it? You know, that's going to break. That's not going to be so good." And the guy said, "Okay, in 10 years, it'll last 5 years." And then they met after, 4 or 5 years. They're like, "Yeah, can you make it less than 5 years? You know, can it last a year, maybe? You know." And that's and then that kind of trickled into all our industry. You know, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to look at an old sewing machine or an old typewriter, and you can literally put, you can start the wheel and you can put a new ink on and they work. They work perfectly fine. My mom had a what's it called? A sewing machine. She had a fan made out of I mean that thing, if she hit you with a head with that, you were gone.
Yeah.
Bye bye. And that thing, it had like just the cables, and she used to stick the cables into the outlet, and it would work. And it worked. I don't know where it is now, but that thing worked throughout my whole entire life. She took it everywhere we went. We traveled all over the world. It didn't matter if it was 110, 220. It didn't matter. She stuck it in there, and the fan would start going. So, the products have become worse and worse and worse. So quality is not something that you can actually acquire easily nowadays. People are very interested in you buying something, breaking. I mean, I was watching the other day, Alibaba. Alibaba is one of the top companies in the world. I don't know about you, but
that's the Chinese firm, right?
Anything I bought from Alibaba is a piece of shit. I mean, I've never bought anything that comes and you say, "Ooh, this is good quality. I mean, this is going to last me, 20, 30 years." It's all crap. It's Tuma and Alibaba.
It reminds me of I bought this fighting fish. What are they called? The little
fighting fish.
Yeah, there's another name for it, but anyway,
Cyclicus.
No, not the African cichlids.
No.
You have to keep them alone because if they're with another male, they'll kill each other.
Yeah.
And the what? Betta fish. Yes. I've heard that a lot of pet shops will say, only feed it once a day. And they do that on purpose.
So you kill it.
Yeah, because really it needs to eat twice a day. Yeah. And many times it'll die. And what they know that most people who buy a betta fish, it's usually a child, the kid. The fish will then die after 3 or 4 days when the parents are like, "Oh, hell, what do we do? Go get another one." Okay. Yeah. They go get another one.
And they're not that expensive, so.
Right. But the pet shops say that on purpose, only feed it once a day. Or was it every 2 or 3 days? No more, once a day at most. And really you should feel it like you should feed it 2 or 3 times a day. But
No.
yeah, that's pretty cruel. You're killing fish just to make more money. Oh my God!
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. So yeah, so definitely one of the things that I've seen lately is, for example, like I said about your particular products, without even meeting you, once you hold the product in your hand, you feel the quality, you see the actual design, you can tell somebody took their time and effort to make this product. It's not about, there's cutters out there that, for $1, $2. Now, they last what? How much they last?
Well, yeah,
They last nothing.
There's purposes for all of them.
Yeah.
There's consumers amongst us who don't want to spend a certain amount because they don't want to worry about losing it or breaking it.
Yeah. Or
They
somebody
may just-
stealing it.
Exactly.
I've had that.
So to go and buy something at a price that's going to, on a utility basis, do the job, but then you don't have to worry about safekeeping it and being concerned about that.
Go ahead.
Like a Mont Black pen that I got as a gift years ago. Really beautiful, gorgeous pen. I mean, back then it was like $600 and something.
Whoa.
But it's like
For a pen?
often, yes, Mont Blanc, and often it's like I get stressed out if I go to a networking event or whatever, and I have it with me. It's like, and so, do you have a pen?
Nope.
And it's like I lend it to them. I'm like, and now I can't think of anything else. But where is that
Try to get
person?
that pen
And I
back.
make sure my eyes are on that pen, because they might innocently forget or
Or
leave
not.
the pen
Or
somewhere.
not
Give it to
innocently.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Or not innocently.
But it is
Blanc.
stressful. It can be stressful.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can relate.
I actually went to, where was it? Was it Brazil or Paraguay? One of these border countries, border cities. And I bought, they have everything is, fake. And they were selling Rolexes. They were selling, for Rolex for like $5, $6, something like that. And they looked pretty good. So I bought like 5, 6, 7 of them. And I came back to Miami. I went to my friends. I here, you get a Rolex, you get a Rolex, you get a Rolex. They're like, oh my God, really? I get a Rolex? Then they looked at it. They're like, this is fake. I'm like, what do you think? I was going to buy a real Rolex? What the fuck's wrong with you? It's like, but it actually looked pretty real. And they have a lot of fake purses that come out of China. A lot of them. A lot. And they look, they're not, obviously they're not going to last like a Gucci or, a Christian Dior or anything like that. But you don't have the money to get a Gucci bag, you have $20 to buy a copy of it. So, I mean, it does cover a necessity. But I think all in all, at the end of the day, it's important that when you buy a product, you buy a good product. A product is going to last. I mean, cars are, I don't know what I hate more, going to the doctor or going to the mechanic. It's always the same thing. They never tell you, oh no, everything's fine, just go home. You always have a problem. They always have to give you a pill, have to do an investigation, have to take out the blood. You go to the mechanic, the car's not working and the oil doesn't work. I mean, it's like your car worked fine. All I needed was a checkup or change the oil. Oh no, but this, it's like $3,000. Whoa! It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, it's about to die. It's about to die. The car was working fine. So yeah, definitely that's not one of the criteria I really enjoy at all.
Well, what's bad is when people die because
That was Toyota. Was it Corolla? Corolla, I think. Remember that they had faulty wheels or something, or the steering.
Yeah, well, there's been several cars
Man,
like
and
that.
they got sued bad, and they.
But I'll tell you what I think
was
of
pretty bad.
is it, and I wrote an article on this in my my newsletter, Subconscious Fat. But Roman architecture, okay? Architects would study the Roman engineers, they would study the Roman architecture, and they would look at it and say, oh, it's great, it's fantastic, it's beautiful, and it's lasted for so many years. Mm-hmm. And then they study it closer and go, but you see here, see these little white things here? These are mistakes. Mm. They were doing something wrong here. Yet that
structure's
cement,
been there for...
it's been there for thousands of years. And yet we have the concrete we use today in modern day
not as good.
Is not as good. We had the incident at the Champion Tower in Surfside where 96 people died.
Yeah.
And it was because water. The Romans were so smart that they created concrete that when it got wet, it would self-heal and create these like white claws. It looked like it was a mistake, but it actually makes the concrete last a whole lot longer. And then, of course, an MIT engineer, PhD, studied it, got together with a company, created some patents, wrote papers on it, and it's like, voila. Yeah. It's been hiding under our noses for thousands of years. Yeah. Okay. And meanwhile, how many earthquakes have happened? How many incidents like the Champion Tower and Surfside have people died because we have lost that technology?
Yeah. Well, we didn't lose
it.
We hid it, which is a different story.
Hidden. Yeah.
It's a different story. Yeah.
But, some snobby engineer looked at it and, this must have been a mistake. And he just thought, well, but wait a second. It's lasted this long. Why would it be a mistake? Let me look further into this. And they did experiments, and sure enough, and this just got discovered a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I actually heard about these guys in Russia that invented, they were looking for a bacteria that would eat the oil that would fall into the oil, like when there was a spill. They wanted to create a bacteria that would eat the petroleum. That way you could clean an area, because once petroleum comes into the sand, and it kills everything. So they were studying that, and they inadvertently, without wanting to, developed a bacteria that eats cavities. Mm-hmm. So all you had to do was put a drop of this bacteria in your mouth once a year, and you would get no cavities. Mm. Where's that product?
That'll put a lot of dentists out of business.
Where's that product? Where can we get that?
Right.
Nowhere? What about the guy that invented the car with water? You ever heard of that story? Yeah, he invented supposedly a car that ran on water. And then he was like, he was poisoned. He was poisoned, and he actually ran to the store, into his friend's house, and he goes, "These guys I met with poisoned me, and I'm dying," and he actually died. And it's obviously you could go into.
I haven't heard about that, but then there's also like the theory that Nikola Tesla, who was a genius without question, but that he made a
wireless energy.
He made something like he had the internet figured out way back. He could like give everyone free electricity.
Yeah, not internet, free electricity.
Free electricity. Yes.
Well, what he was talking about is that the Earth produces it.
Correct.
Already.
Yes.
So he wasn't giving it. He wasn't creating it.
Just connecting.
He was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a very interesting. Thomas Edison, like I said, with the light bulb, and then from what I've seen in documentaries about Tesla, besides the fact that he was probably autistic and he probably was not all there.
Well, but the thing is that if you look at the experiments that he's done, and then as soon as he died, like they rounded up all of his stuff.
It's gone.
So when you look at Edison, we're told what he did 1,000 times.
Yeah.
He attempted to make a light bulb. Right. A light bulb is cool, but when you look at the stuff that Tesla did, it
way cooler.
Yeah, it's way beyond.
It's beyond that. Yeah, no, absolutely. And
Thomas Edison did try to promote. I think it was Westinghouse who beat out. Because Thomas Edison wanted to promote his brand of electricity, which was much more dangerous, and he even electrocuted an elephant to demonstrate how his form of electricity is safer. And thank God we never went with that. We went with Westinghouse, and that's what we use. I don't know the exact details of the story, but
I remember that.
Thomas Edison, he didn't get his whole company to use his form of electricity the way he wanted it done.
He definitely got the credit.
He did get the credit. Well, he did, yeah.
If you ask anybody that knows a little bit of history, you tell them who invented the light bulb, it'll be Thomas Edison. But yet, who invented the phosphorus light? That was Tesla. And he invented that at the same time that they were talking about light bulbs. And he was saying, no, light bulbs are no good. You got to go this way.
Yeah.
So we could have had fluorescent lights way before even the regular light bulb. So imagine. So there's a lot of technology like that. It's being held back. The internet itself was really it was used by the government way before we even got into the public.
Sure.
So there's a lot of technology out there that really it's being suppressed and not given to us. Drones and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that gives you pause sometimes, and you think about It's kind of like I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was telling me, "Oh, these electric cars are amazing. I just bought a Tesla, and it is a great technology. It's wonderful. It drives really well." But I'm like, dude, when they started making cars, there were electric cars already.
Yep.
There were steam cars.
These aren't the first electric.
These are not. It's not an invention. In fact, when we were talking, I started thinking about it. It's like, what really has been invented in the last 30, 40 years? If you think about technology, yes, computers have gotten faster, but that's not really an invention. It's just an improvement.
Well, the iPhone was a big...
but even the iPhone it's a phone with a computer in it. So it's not really a new invention, something that we've never seen before.
Well, I mean, wasn't it Elon Musk who was kind of rattling around about how people were going to get computer chipped?
Well, he's already did. He already did it.
Yeah, but think about it. We all carry these phones that follow us everywhere. So it's like.
Oh no, we're already
carrying the computer chip.
We're carrying. We just don't have it inside our bodies.
Yeah, there's already companies, I understand, where people have volunteered to get a chip put in their finger to have access into and out of the company. So that's already happening.
But that's ridiculous when you think about it, because you have bioscanners, you have the biometric scanners that can do that without doing any of that.
Yeah.
Or you got the retina scanners that you don't even need to do that. So it makes me wonder why they would do that.
See, every industry has secrets.
Conspiracy
every
time.
industry. No, it's not conspiracy.
Did we go to the moon?
I'll give you a few examples. I'll give you a few examples. I'll talk because I've been mainly in two industries. Mm-hmm. One, chiropractic. Okay. There was a chiropractor.
Inside chiropractor conspiracy. Here we go.
Back in the day when I was a chiropractor, a man, Dr. Jay Holder, who's actually from Miami Beach, or he lived in Miami Beach, and he created a technique, and he would say that, what chiropractors are doing is they're getting people addicted to chiropractic. The body... There were some chiropractors who were very successful. They had like a guru type of personality, and they would give these lay lectures and attract a lot of people into their clinics, and they would see a lot of patients. And they just had very dynamic personalities, and they would also educate people well. But part of the thing was that if you keep getting adjusted the same way consistently 2-3 times a week, and then even weekly,
you need it.
Your body gets used to it. Your body then gets to a point where you are waiting for the adjustment. And some of these chiropractors, and I'll admit it, I got into this a little bit, like, well, the idea would be that you get checked every week, and then if you go to the chiropractor every Monday or every Friday,
cha-ching, cha-ching,
it's kind of like your body is waiting for it. Like, it's waiting for it. And then, oh my God, I don't feel right. Oh, I didn't get to my chiro. Oh, I feel terrible. Oh, I need to go. I need to make up. And this would happen.
Do you see the amount of chiropractors on YouTube that have millions of followers and views?
Millions
of just adjusting people.
Yeah. And this, and he was one of the first to say that, you don't always want to adjust the same bone the same way. You want to sometimes, if you find a misalignment here, leave it alone, adjust another area, or adjust it a different way so that the body doesn't get used to it. So you don't create a habit. You don't create an addiction. And the truth is, I later found out, the truth is, if you do something like Pilates or yoga or Tai Chi,
same thing.
I mean, you're probably not going to need a chiropractor that much. You're just not, because you are creating already a lot of flexibility into your spine, and that's really what we want, is a flexible spine.
So what about this one thing? All of these videos that pop up that I see, I guess if you look at one, they just like kind of put you on the list, right?
Yeah.
And I see these videos of people just getting their heads kind of pulled like this. And did you ever... What is that? Is that the decompression, or what do they call that? Yeah,
there's decompression. There was a technique. There's many different chiropractic techniques, but some of them, crane technique is one that I remember, where you turn the head one way, then the other, and that just yanks you. And it seems like you're going to take the person's head off, but the truth is, it's just a very brief traction to the entire spine, and it really does help.
Yeah.
A lot of people in pain will get a release. And yes. But he was like one of the first chiropractors to say that. A lot of chiropractors started hating him for it. And, and then like in personal training, what I'm doing now, this whole idea of doing, okay, you're going to do 3 sets of 10. and then 12 on the fourth one. That's complete bullshit. This whole idea that you need to train for an hour, complete bullshit.
That's right. You were talking about that the other
Yeah.
day.
All you need to do is one set to failure, to the point where you can't do it anymore, the exercise, and now you have stimulated the muscle, and that's it.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah. So, when I work out, it takes me 25 minutes because I do one set to failure, and I'm done. That's it. But what happens? You're at a facility. Most people think of when you get a trainer, you train for an hour. You really only need half an hour, but it's the industry that there's money to be made here, and
And of course, the diet.
Well, yeah, no,
Goes hand in
diet
hand.
is totally super
It's key.
important.
Yeah.
It's key.
But
I mean, if you don't do, we actually, Herman and I, we have a meetup, which talk about meat. So a little playing
meat
game.
and cigars, yeah.
Well, no, meat and cigars is this.
Well,
but
the last, I believe the last podcast that you guys did, you were talking about how they started cooking the meat,
yes,
and then having that, and the impact on the digestion,
absolutely,
and
Right.
then how it kind of went from there to there.
The expensive tissue hypothesis.
That's it.
Yeah, because before we were in human, we started controlling fire. We started cooking the meat. And once we started cooking the meat, it was a more efficient way for us to digest the meat. That way our digestive system shrank, which allowed our brain to grow. So when you actually eat meat, this is why nowadays when people say, oh, I was depressed and I have anxiety problems, but then they start eating meat and they get better, I'm not surprised, because that just totally makes sense.
Yeah.
We evolved to eat cooked meat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
yeah.
And there's also a lot of isn't glutamine something that's
Gluten.
L-glutamine, the amino acid that's in meat and things like eggs and stuff that helps line the digestive tract, that helps with digestion.
Yes.
That undoes a lot of these inflammatory ailments.
Yeah, absolutely,
with,
absolutely.
IBS and leaky gut syndrome and all that
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
stuff.
we talked about this before, the benefits of the carnivore diet. In my particular case, I have a little bit of arthritis starts, and it got pretty progressive in the last, I would say, 5 years, to the point I got a little nervous. And since I started the carnivore diet, meaning I don't eat rice, I don't eat anything, just meat, meat. It's not gone away, but it has not progressed at all. Inflammation has been gone. I used to have knee pain, a lot of back problems, back pain. Sleeping was not that great. I sleep like a baby. Libido has actually gone up. So the reason why we got together and we started talking about this is because I see the results myself. I mean, he's in better shape now than he was probably in his 20s and 30s.
Yep.
Obviously he works out, on a daily basis, but regardless of that,
5 days a week.
if you don't work out and if you don't do the right combination of food, forget it. And when he told me about it, he goes, "Oh, the carnivore." We were talking one day, and he was telling me about the carnivore diet. And I looked at him, and I'm like, "You just described every Argentinian ever diet, because in Argentina there's no rice, there's no
Right.
beans, there's no, yeah, we'll eat French fries and mashed potato every now and then, but in reality, when we have a barbecue, it's meat.
Yeah.
Nobody's eating. I mean, maybe a salad,
Right.
to kind of like, say, "Ooh, I'm eating a salad," like I'll put a piece of lettuce in my mouth, I don't know, just to make it look nice. But in reality, that's all we eat. I mean, if you're poor over there, you eat a steak. That's the cheapest, food that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So not even chicken. You don't even. I mean, chicken is like a special occasion. Pig is for birthdays. The pork, the whole entire
Right.
pork, it's for birthday, for New Year's, for anniversary. Like a special occasion. Which, by the way, when I was down there in November, I had my uncle did a pork, and I was like, I'm not a big fan. He's like, "Really? You don't like this?" I'm like, "It's okay." And like I've had it, Caja China here, and I've had it here, and you go to Palacio de los Jugos, which they have the asado pork, and it's delicious, and they have the chicharrón and stuff like that. But I'm not, it's okay, it's fine. Good Lord Jesus, when I had that, I was like sucking on the leg on that thing. I was like, I grabbed the freaking head, I was like sucking on the eyeball. It was freaking delicious. Never in a million years. I can't even explain to you the difference. The difference of the food over there in the United States compared to South America. You have no comparison. It's no comparison because, of course, they had killed the little pig. They had killed it like 5 days ago. So you're eating a freshly, well-fed, healthy animal.
Grass-fed.
Well, in the case of a pig,
pigs, yeah, they're
omnivores. They give them like walnuts and special food and stuff like that. They don't give them garbage.
Right.
And the pig can't eat anything, but they give them good food. Same thing with the cows. The cows, they eat grass and that's it. They don't stick any meals on them. They don't do anything.
So you said they feed them walnuts specifically.
Yeah. Well, in Spain also they feed them walnuts. It gives them the flavor. It makes them more greasy and more flavorable.
Is that like
what you eat at the end of the day?
The iberico, the jamón iberico.
Jamón iberico.
They eat the acorns.
They eat the acorns too.
And Zuckerberg has that. His 80 cows, I heard, in Hawaii, in an island in Hawaii.
When you have his money, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yep.
You can get the best of the best. That's what the guys in Dubai go to pick up the honey over there. But yeah, I mean that, and not only that, I take Pertis. No, it's not Pertis. I don't remember the name of it, but I take like a heartburn pill. When I was in,
is that Percocet?
A Percocet, I think it is. And I take it.
It's an opioid, isn't it? Percocet's a big time opioid.
I don't know. Maybe. Perlosec.
Yeah.
And I take that, every now and then. That if I eat something or drink wine or something that I feel like, maybe I'm gonna need it, I take it. But when I was in Argentina, I ran out. And then, you're traveling, you're going around. It's not exactly, you can't get the same thing. I don't know. I just forgot. And then I forgot I had heartburn. And then 2 weeks went by, and I was like, one day I looked at my wife and I go, honey, I haven't had a heartburn since we got here. Like, what's going on? And we've been eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, ice cream. I mean, and the ice cream over there is ridiculous. But the meat is just like, French fries, eggs, meat.
Yeah, the French fries probably isn't. I was reading about McDonald's. They used to not fry. They used to fry their fries in fat, I'm not sure if it was ghee or beef tallow, but they used a natural fat from an animal, and the French fries were like, that was the biggest thing with McDonald's. And then eventually, because of the cheap vegetable oils, they eventually switched to vegetable oils. The French fries are not the same, but they used to be fantastic. I mean, you would go to McDonald's for the French fries.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
You still do.
But they're
you ever seen the movie
Super
Size Me?
Yes.
You seen that? You seen that, Mike?
Documentary.
Man, that if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, I mean, that guy almost freaking. The doctor's like, whatever you're doing, you need to stop.
But then there's the guy who he met
stop.
like in Texas, who I just saw him on the news recently. He's eaten like 30,000 Big Macs in his lifetime so far. I mean, how can he even count?
But
who even counts that much?
Well, he does, obviously.
Yeah.
How much does he weigh? Like 300 pounds?
No.
No, he's skinny.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in the documentary. He was featured in the documentary. Yeah, there are some people that
that's true too.
He probably, if that's the only thing, he's still getting beef. He's still getting meat. It's not the best cooked beef. It's not grass-fed beef, but hey, it's still better than a lot of the junk that the typical American eats in the United States. It's still better.
Well, what about when they put the French fry? They put the French fries in the hamburger. They have McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and they put like the glass thing on it,
and they just let it age, and it just sits there, and it stays the same.
They come back like 3 months later, and it's like freaking. It looks exactly the same. It's like it's supposed to be.
Scary.
It's supposed to take like 3 months for you to actually process French fries through your body. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's insane. And I think we were talking about this in the last podcast. When you go to the bathroom over there, you can really tell. I mean, it's visual and smell, both. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to South America, and we used to eat and then come back to the States and then eat over here. And here in the United States, you go to the bathroom and you poop, and it's colorless, smellless, and it's little. You go to South America, that thing it's like you gave birth to your boy. It's freaking huge, it's smelly, it's big, and you can literally tell the difference of the minerals and the vitamins and
All right, you're killing my appetite here. That
By the
blood
way, that
sausage was looking good, but
mine
now
was
it's
about
not looking so
three
good.
times that size, that sausage. No, it's you know, and it's satisfactory. You go to the bathroom, the movement, it's like you're like satisfied. You're like, you know, you're like, this is amazing. You know, it's and you feel like the food comes out. You eat, and sometimes you feel like the food's not going anywhere. It's just sticking in your intestine.
Do any of you, either of you guys, fast at all?
Yes.
Yes. I haven't in a while, but when I went carnivore in the first 4 to 6 weeks, I did a 2-day fast.
Yeah.
And then I got...
That's it? That's the maximum you've done?
Well, no, I've done fast for... I once did a 7-day fast, but it wasn't a complete fast because I had to drink hemp milk. I couldn't tolerate it. But that's because I was coming off of eating vegetables and fruit. And it was a naturopath guiding me through it because I had a serious stomach issue. I got rid of my stomach issue, but then when I started fasting coming off of carnivore, it was way easier. I did 2 days, like I could have gone a third day,
Yeah.
but I had by the time I did my 2-day fast, I had like a 6-pack, and I was like, okay, I'm good, and I haven't fasted since.
Have you tried it,
But
Mike?
it's very
Have you tried
hard.
Yeah, I've been doing intermittent fasting
Yeah.
for several years now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The longest I've gone is 50 hours.
50.
That's pretty good.
You're like,
It's more than 2 days.
Yeah, more than 2 days.
49.
I was trying to get to 3 days because everything that I'm reading says that at 3 days, what is that?
That's the
72,
magic.
72
That's-
hours
yeah.
is where your
Right.
immune system will reset.
Yes.
And that's pretty. I don't remember any doctor ever telling me that.
No.
Why would they?
Yeah.
They want you to get sick so they can sell you a pill. Come on. You know, I mean, the medical industry in this country, well, I think in the world, they're all the same, basically. You know, they want to maintain you alive as long as possible, you know. I mean, I don't know if we talked about this or not, but for example, when I was growing up, I didn't know what a diabetic was.
Right.
Nowadays, I feel like everybody has diabetes, and you get diabetes.
Well, it's an onset. It's a lifestyle. The type 2
Yeah.
is a lifestyle thing, right?
Yeah, get close to the
Get
mic.
close to the mic. But yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, I know more people that are diabetic today than ever up to my 30s. I would say, you know, I'm 50 now. When I was in my 30s, I didn't know anybody that was diabetic, and maybe I saw like one person with a needle. I was like, "What the hell, dude? Are you gonna shoot up, or what's going on, man? Like, you know, relax. We're at a wedding." No, I got it. I'm diabetic, and I need. Oh, okay, relax. But I mean, you really did not hear about diabetes.
No.
Diabetes was not a thing. You know, it's
way
just-
more common now. Yep.
I wonder why. You know, I wonder why.
Well,
because-
that's the vegetable oils,
Yeah.
the wheat. I mean, it's a multifactorial thing, but it's basically diet, without question. It's diet.
Yeah, I also discovered the interfasting. I did it with conjunction with the carnivore, and when I started, I was about 220, 222, 6'1". So it wasn't horrible, but at the same time, I'm the kind of, you know, I got the body type that instead of getting fat all over, it's just my stomach. So I
Like
look
most men.
I look like a D or a B, depending which side you were looking at me. It was not attractive at all. And I remember when I was doing stand-up comedy, I would say, you know, ever since I quit smoking and I've gained, you know, like 50 pounds in like a week, I haven't seen my penis for like a month, you know. So, you know, it was really depressing, you know, to have that belly. It was not attractive. You remember we had that picture of your friend, what's his name that you lived with, that he was marrying that girl and she was pregnant, and I actually went next to her and I put my belly to her belly, and
Yes.
we literally had the equal.
You were pregnant too.
I looked pregnant. It was horrible. That picture was what made me want to lose weight. I was like, God damn it, I need to lose weight. I looked pregnant. So I went from 220 to 175 in less than, I would say, 8 months. 8 months, about 8 months. I've been doing the interfasting. I did the 5 days at the beginning. I did, you know, as much as I could. Then I started the carnivore after that. And then now I do 1 meal a day and carnivore. And I've been maintaining 175, 176. I've been, you know, staying in that. And I'm not really, you know, yes, sometimes I do get really hungry, and all I do is just go and eat some prosciutto or eat some,
something with fat.
Something with
good.
fat, and
Gotta have the
that's
fat.
it.
Yeah.
And it's just 2 or 3 bites, and I'm done. Also, I think your stomach shrinks, so that also brings in that necessity that you don't need to eat large quantities of food.
I've also switched some time ago from table salt to either sea salt or Celtic salt.
Yeah.
And the Celtic salt has like 80-something minerals in it that your body needs.
What's Celtic? I've never heard of Celtic.
So Celtic salt is they harvest it from some beaches in France, and basically
So it's sea salt.
It's sea salt, but it's from that specific region.
Okay.
And they sell it in these bags. They call it light gray Celtic salt, and you can get it on Amazon or some
Redmond's is very popular among the carnivore community. A lot of people recommend Redmond's salt as well. It has a lot of minerals. And
the minerals is what The minerals is what it is. And what I'll do is that instead of just drinking water, like I try to drink the cleanest water, and a lot of the bottled waters are very acidic. So to get an alkalized water.
We get the what? We get the Fuji, right, baby?
Yeah,
Fiji.
there's Fiji. There's
It's expensive as fuck.
yeah, it is.
There's drinking wine
There's
every day.
Fiji. Icelandic is also like a pH of 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Akopana, those like the mineral waters and stuff. But instead of just purely drinking water, to take a couple of grains of that salt, of the Celtic salt or the Redmond's or the and you just put it on your tongue, you let it dissolve a little bit, and you drink. And what that does is that actually helps. That's the electrolytes that help hydrate you. Because you can drink water, as you would know. You can drink water all day
just
long.
go right through you.
Yeah.
There was a guy that ran a marathon that actually drowned drinking water.
Yeah, because it wasn't getting into the cells.
He was just drinking it and staying in. He literally died from drinking too much water, which comes to show that anything in large quantities is not good for you. You do definitely need a balance. But the interesting about the interfasting is the
intermittent.
Fasting. Well, yeah, but I've seen like the 24 hours, the 48 hours, the 50 and so on and so forth. Like there's like a magic number. I don't remember right now what it is, but
I think it's a 72 hours.
72 hours?
72.
That you hit the 72 hours and you start getting rid of like old cells.
Well, that's autophagy,
new
right?
cells.
But that's actually less than 72 hours. The 72 hours is where your immune system actually starts to reset, from what I've read.
Okay.
And there's the autophagy is where your healthy cells, your newer cells, start to devour the older ones.
Exactly.
Almost like a self-cleaning system.
Which, if you think about it, cancer is basically a problem with old cells.
Right,
I think it comes from there.
If you have an acidic environment, if your body's acidic, and then it eats glucose basically, or some form of glucose. So
sugar.
So if you keep eating sugar or something that turns to sugar, you're basically just propagating it and keeping it going.
That's insane.
Whereas that you can starve it. Yeah, you can starve it, right? But the autophagy starts to come. I think after 24 hours that starts.
I'm not exactly sure, but yes. The longer if you can hit 4 days once a year, not all the time, but every once in a while, to get to 4 days is great. I don't know I'll probably do 2 days in the next few months, but because then you do get skinnier, you do lose some muscle mass. But yeah, it's still a very, very healthy thing to do, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have said to me, well, I can't do that because I'd be starving. But what we realize is that when we actually fast correctly, our body is still feeding itself.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I go back to, I always like to go back to the beginning. When we developed as humans, in the caves and, hunting, gathering and stuff like that. We didn't have refrigerators. We didn't have supermarkets. If you wanted to eat something, guess what? You got to go out and kill it. And, not every time you went out, you got to kill something. That's why, we were talking about this with Herman, and that's why we developed eating fruits and vegetables and things like that, because we didn't have what we really wanted, which was a piece of meat. That's really what really satisfied the hunger. A piece of, a bison or a deer or something of that nature, a pig or a hog. And so if you look at all the cultures, you can see that it's very clear. You know, Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, the Roman. I mean, they all ate meat, and that's really where all the protein and all the energy comes from.
Yeah, I don't think there's any cave art with vegetables. I might be wrong. But I've never heard of 100,000-year-old cave drawings in a cave in France
Of a delicious lettuce,
vegetable. No.
Caesar salad.
They always show animals.
It's always animals they're
Yes.
hunting, right? That's
Yes.
true. That's true. Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, that was the food of choice, you know, and you weren't always successful. You know, the animals were not exactly just sticking around for you to go kill them. You know, they would take off, and we weren't the fastest ones out there. But definitely, you can. I mean, if a year ago you would have told me that doing interfasting and the carnivore would make me lose the amount of weight that I lost, I would laugh at you. I'd be like, that's ridiculous. I don't believe you. So it's one of those things that you got to try it out. You got to see the results. Again, not everybody's the same. Like this guy that eats McDonald's every day and he's fine. You know, there's people that can do stuff like that. You know, they can eat garbage and be fine. But that's one dude. I think that, you know, if you put 100 people, there's one guy that can eat, you know, glass, and there's a guy.
And there's some people that can be vegetarian for a very long
Correct.
time, and they actually, some of them, not most of them, but some of them actually look healthy,
Yeah. Well,
but
I
not
don't know.
most of them.
That's very debatable. We can talk about that.
You know, and I think too, there's also a difference a little bit between genders. You know, most cases in the hunting. And again, I'm just generalizing here big time because I'm sure a lot of women were fantastic hunters and went hunting with the men.
I
I'm
doubt
sure.
that very seriously.
Well, I'm sure that happens some, but my point is that overall, most of the time,
I think
it
we
would
go
be
back
men
to the
who would do
cave
the hunting.
drawings. I didn't see any boobs on those stick men.
And then the women would more often than not
With all due respect
stay at
to the
home,
women.
maybe eat some roots, or you know, while they're waiting for the men to come back with the meat, they would eat some. A little bit more fruits, a little bit more vegetables, and then finally when the meat came, everybody ate the meat, and the men might have just gone a couple of days without eating.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like a difference between women and men is that, yeah, if you're a woman and you're going to do carnivore, you do have to handle it a little bit differently. Like if you're going to do the fasting, my understanding is that for women, it should be done when a woman begins her menstrual cycle. Because if she tries to fast at the wrong time during her menstrual cycle, during her...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it will affect her. It's
More
much
difficult.
harder for a woman to do it. Now, they can do it, they just have to
When
have
they
to
have the
time it
menstrual
right.
cycle or after the menstrual
I think when it starts, their body's already getting rid of, you know, the menstrual cycle starts, that's the time to start fasting. And then that'll be much easier. A woman will be able to tolerate it much better than if she does it in the middle of her cycle. You know, it should happen. She should start fasting when the menstrual cycle begins.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I heard a joke the other day about if a vegan and a vegetarian jump off a cliff, who wins? Society. I'm gonna give it to myself there. I liked it. It's a good one. But yeah, definitely, I do like.
But I will
the
say
carnivore.
this: vegetarians, and I don't argue this point with them.
Tell me.
A lot of people become vegetarian, and this is why. Look, vegetarians, if any of you are out there listening to this, look, I have sympathy for you guys. Look, from a moral standpoint, they win. You can't argue with them.
Why moral?
Well, they have sympathy for animals, and I get it. I love animals. I mean, I do.
They're delicious.
Right. Well, I love them, but yes, we still have to eat them. But I definitely think they should be treated right. They should live a good, natural life until the day they were killed to be eaten, and they should be eaten completely.
But
the
isn't
liver
that what
should
they
be
do already?
eaten,
I don't think anybody's torturing cows.
Well, the modern food
the
system,
process.
the way cows are on cement all the time and they never touch the earth, or pigs are in a cage and they never move around. That's terrible for the animal.
You're talking
It's
about
terrible.
mass production. You're talking about
the mass production is terrible.
the chickens. You've seen the chicken? The
Yeah.
chicken one that take off the beak and It's
because they'll attack one another and kill one another, and they're standing on their own feces all day.
that's
Yeah,
hard
that's
to
terrible.
watch. That's hard to
terrible.
watch. That's hard. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the biggest pollutants in the earth is cow manure, because it has a lot of ammonia. I think, if I'm not mistaken, is it ammonia or something like that? And
believe
one
so.
of the biggest pollutants is the amount of cow, because obviously, again, I go to Argentina, but you can go to Brazil, you can go to Paraguay, you can go to Uruguay, even Chile. The cows are out in a huge piece of land eating grass, so it's spread out. It's not a big deal. But when you stick, 3,000 cows in a little area, because you don't have the land, or you want to, maximize your profit, then that's 3,000, 3 million, or whatever number, huge number it is, of cows pooing and peeing in the same area. So what do you do?
Terrible.
What do you do with all that manure? What do you do with all that stuff? And that actually generates a lot of pollution. The same
Yes.
thing with the chickens. I mean, I've been to slaughterhouses. I actually worked for a guy in South America that owned a slaughterhouse. And it's not a pretty sight, to see the way they kill them, the way they bring them up. And they know. I mean, these animals know that they're going to get killed. Pigs know. I mean, I don't know how they know, but they know. Pigs are actually quite intelligent. It's already been proven. I mean, you can keep them as pets and everything. A lot of people do. But I've seen it myself, where there's maybe, in Argentina it's very common to keep them in where you live. And you'll have like 10 pigs, and you'll go like, that's the one we're going to kill. And that pig will start screaming and and running around. And the other pigs are like, oh, it's not me. It's not me. It's him. You're going to eat him. He looks nice and tasty. Like, it's amazing. Like, they know that you pointed him out, that you're going to kill him. So, yeah, I do have sympathy, obviously, for it. But let's face it, it's freaking delicious. At the end of the day, it tastes good. I mean, I'm sorry, but, it tastes good, and we're used to eating it. And I think it's part of our nature to eat these animals.
And what do y'all think about the way they kill dolphins in Japan? It's pretty sad.
Well, I've never tasted dolphin, so if dolphin is delicious, I'm probably going to go for it.
See, but dolphins
But
are
I don't-
such beautiful animals. I love dolphins.
I mean, if you think about it, all animals have their beauty. I mean, I've befriended many animals, even cows, that they know you. You go out and they see you, they come over and you pet them, and you can befriend any animal. Just go to YouTube and you'll see that a crow is friends with a dog, and all kinds of weird
You see that
relationships.
YouTube video where a fox comes to a parent, an adult, an older man, whining. The man follows the fox, and sure enough, the fox baby is
Got
like
an issue.
tied up.
Yeah. I've seen
And so they save the old man saves a little baby fox,
I've seen
and
that
then
one. I've seen that,
the
yeah.
mother and the baby fox come regularly to get fed by the older man, and it's like the fox and the baby have become like part of the man's family. That's cool.
Yeah, but and again, we are part of nature, and nature's part of us. But just like the lion has to eat the gazelle, we have to eat the gazelle too. I'm sure the lion doesn't hate the gazelle or the lion or the cheetah or a leopard. They don't hate anything. It's just that's the way it is. That's the order in the pecking life. The circle of life.
And the killer whales, I love killer whales, but it's sad when they throw the little penguin all
I don't
around.
like the name. I don't like the name.
Yeah, orca is a better name.
Orca's a better. I think killer whale is a little bit.
They do kill whales, though.
They kill everything.
There was they
kill anything.
They will
kill and eat it.
great whites
Yeah.
just to get
For fun.
at the liver.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's crazy.
Like, there were 2 killer whales in South Africa. They were brothers, and they killed like 5 great white sharks. And the carcasses of these great white sharks were found on the shore in South Africa, and it was just like a surgeon precision. The killer whales exactly just ate the liver of the great white sharks.
For fun, it's delicious.
Well, yeah, it's delicious, and it's the most nutrient-dense food on earth is liver.
I'm surprised that hasn't become like a thing.
Well, I eat liver probably once
I'm
a
talking
week.
about shark liver. I'm surprised it hasn't.
Well-
we talked about the fins, for example. I think it's
Yeah.
Chinese will eat it for vitality or manliness, and they'll make shark fin soup.
Yeah.
and then they'll throw the whole entire shark back in the water.
Right.
Which, ultimately that seemed a little cruel. I mean, if you're going to kill an animal, eat it all.
Right.
You
should eat it all. Yes.
I'm not a hunt. You ever hunt? Do you ever go hunting? Like, I've been hunting, and yeah, it's not the greatest feeling in the world when you shoot something. I've only shot one thing. It was a hog. It was we went hunting in Okeechobee. It was a farm that had every animal, every deer you could imagine from all over the world, and you had like people, from millionaires flying in with their jets and come in and kill an axle deer from Africa, and they would pay.
Well, would they at least make you hunt it?
Yeah.
first?
No, you had to hunt it. You had to go up in a tree
But
and
is
wait
it
for
you
it.
hunt it and
But I mean,
you
it's
just find it there in the farm and
they're
it's
walking
fenced
around.
in?
They're not exactly hiding.
Right. You're not really hunting,
No.
are you? You're not.
I mean,
Come
you're
on.
shooting it. So
You're
you gotta
not
have
really
aim.
hunting. You're not really hunting.
I mean, it's
Come
not like
on.
you're going out in the savannah and looking for it. No, it's not like that. It is set up for you to be able to get the deer because, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, that's the business, right? You got to shoot the deer that costs you like $15,000, and then you mount the head. That's another $5,000, and then you get the meat. That's another $300, $400, and then you stay in the cabin, and then they make the meal. It's actually it's a pretty cool place if you're into hunting. Now, if you're not into hunting, it's probably a nightmare. But if you're into hunting, it's beautiful. It's up in Okeechobee. I'll put it up.
And the irony is that in this country especially, it was also a lot of hunters who did promote having wildlife reserves, having
Yes.
protected areas.
Well, yeah, you want to protect
so
it.
that they could
You don't overkill
continue
it.
to hunt
Yeah.
and to leave nature as nature. And yeah, if you enjoy hunting, nothing really wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're keeping the species in balance.
I got a good one for you. So we went with my brother-in-law. He's from North Carolina. And if you've ever been to North Carolina, you know that everybody shoots deer. I mean, grandma.
They're all over the place.
Grandma,
There's too many of them there.
Well, it's a pest.
Yes.
They're overpopulated.
Because they don't have wolves or they don't have enough
Correct.
predators.
There's no predators, so they're overpopulated, and they'll eat your grain, and they're very destructive. And, they're not particularly tasty. That's why I think they're still around. If they were a little bit more tastier, I think there would be no deer around. But if you go to North Carolina, everybody has a gun. Everybody has a rifle. Not one. They have like 20. They'll shoot the deer from the kitchen, in the morning. They'll wake up. Everybody owns 20, 30, 40 acres of land. It's perfectly normal. So I'm over there. And so he comes to Miami. We go to this Okeechobee place to go hunting. He buys me a Winchester gun, a 30-30, which is the only weapon I've ever actually owned my whole entire life. I've shot it 3 times, and 3 times it's hit its mark. So I don't want to take it out just in case. I don't want to hit anything else. So we go to this place. I kill my pig. They tell me to shoot a female because if it gets too big, the hog, it's actually what is it called? It's not a hog. The one with the teeth.
A boar?
A boar. Not to kill the big ones because the big ones, the meat is no good. It's like yellowish. It's disgusting. You can kill them for trophies, but not for eating. The females are better for eating. The smaller, the better. So I shot a female, which is horrible. I know it sounds terrible, but I did eat the whole thing, so I don't feel that bad. But my brother-in-law is a big-time hunter, so he wanted a big hog, with the teeth and everything. So we go there, and we go in this buggy in the middle of nowhere, and they have these dogs. I think they were Argentinian doggos, and they wear this leather in front of them to protect them. And you see the dogs have like scar. They look like Scarface. They got like scars everywhere, and these dogs are going crazy. They're like they can't wait to get out and freaking go after it. And from what I understand, the guy told me that they go after the balls of the of the boar, and the boar gets pissed. So
I get pissed too.
I think anybody would get pissed if a dog tried to go for your balls, right?
Shit.
And so these guys are like insane. Like these dogs are like freaking out of their. They look like they're on PCP. They're like they want to go out and fucking kill get the balls of this guy. So they let the dogs out, and we're walking now. We drove in these little buggies that were high up. We're walking, and my brother-in-law says, "Can I borrow your 30-30? Because I want to shoot. It's perfect. It's a very powerful shot. Whatever it hits, it decimates it. So let me use your rifle." I go, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. No, I'm not shooting no trophy. $15,000. I'm good. I'm good with what I shot and what I'm gonna eat." and we're walking, and the grass is up to your thigh, and you don't see nothing. It's just grass, and a few trees here and there. And he's in front of me. I'm back here. The dogs are screaming. They're zigzagging back and forth, and I see the grass moving here and there, and I'm like, I look at the guy, and I go, what's that? He goes, oh, that's the hog. I mean, he's pissed. He goes, why is he pissed? Because he goes, well, dogs are trying to get his balls. You would be pissed too. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that's what they do? Like, yeah, that's they love that shit. They'll rip those balls right off if they can get them. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty bad. And all of a sudden, it just went quiet. No dogs, no nothing. And I hear like this scratching of like 2 pieces of rock going. And the guy looks at me. He goes, he's really pissed now. I go, who? He goes, the hog is really pissed now. He goes, how do you know that? He goes, oh, he's sharpening his teeth. So when they get really mad, they start like grinding their teeth. And so they have these teeth that go up and back. And with the lower teeth, they start sharpening their teeth. And I realized I'm nowhere near a tree. I'm in the middle of the frickin' like nowhere. There's grass up to my waist. I can't see shit. I don't have a gun. I have no protection. And that thing runs like at 30 miles per hour. I'm not outrunning it. And my brother-in-law is in the front just pointing at the grass. I'm thinking, how the fuck is he going to shoot this thing? And I'm thinking, this is not a good place for me to be right now. I need to get the fuck out of here. So I haul ass back to the little buggy that was like a 2-floor buggy. I get up there, and next thing I know, when I'm getting up, I hear, pa, pa. And it's my brother-in-law shooting this humongous, I mean, it weighed about, I think it was 350 or 400 pounds. It was massive.
Is this really how you got your vasectomy?
Yeah. No, that's not it, brother. It's this one. I did not get a vasectomy that way. I got it in the hospital. So yeah, that was one of those moments that the oh shit moment. Like, oh, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. I better get the fuck out of here. So yeah, so that was pretty scary. But I always thought that when you go hunting, there should be a chance for the animal to be able to kill you, like like if you have all the weaponry and all the gadgets and all the, what's the
hunter becomes the hunted.
Exactly. Like there should be not a big chance, but there should be a chance of you, I mean, I think on the internet they had this lady that went to Africa and shot a black giraffe, one of the rarest animals that was out there. You're not going to eat that. What the fuck are you shooting that for? Or an elephant. Why would you shoot an elephant? Like, I mean, that I don't understand. Now, if you're going to shoot it, you're going to trophy it, and then you're going to eat it, I'm okay with that. That I'm fine with. That,
what about the bull toros in Spain?
They eat that too. Well,
the guys are risking. They are risking.
Trust me, I saw that shit on live.
They make a show, and they can get hurt really bad.
Oh, and trust me, they did. Yeah. They did. I saw it with horses.
Does that still happen in Spain?
Yes,
didn't they maybe outlaw that? I was just in
Spain a year ago. We went to a bullfight.
But they've outlawed it in certain parts of Spain, I've heard.
I don't know. We were in Sevilla. It was gorgeous. We had a great time. It was really a spectacle. It was beautiful. I mean, the pageantry, the whole setup, the singing, the custom, how they kill the bull. I mean, it was amazing. Because
at least most of these bulls, they get to have a lot of sex before they get killed, right?
I don't know.
Most of the time,
I wasn't there. I don't know.
I don't know how that works, but you want to think that at least before they're going to put the bull out, and the bull's going to end up dead, even if the bull maims a man or two. At least if you got to have a lot of sex before he goes, that's something, right?
We went with my wife. We went to one of the oldest still running restaurants in Sevilla. And we had they have these huge jars for the wine. Obviously, they don't have the wine there anymore. It's just for the menu now. It's just for show. But they served us the bull tail, and they had the bull balls. And the bull tail was phenomenal. It was really good.
You like testicles more?
Wait, let me tell. It is a good story. So they bring it's a whole presentation, and they come and they bring it, and they open the lid. The smoke comes out, and you see these 2 little balls. And I'm like, I thought, bull balls. I would think they'd be like meatballs or like big ones. And I asked the waiter, I go, like, what's going on? I mean, these are really small. And the waiter looks at me and goes, very seriously, he goes, the problem is that the bullfighter doesn't always win. So that's his true story.
Man.
That's exactly what he said. I was on the floor crying when he said that. Of course, there were bull balls, and they were actually pretty good. But they do eat the whole entire bull. In fact, when I was there, I had an idea of starting a restaurant called Alpha, where all the animals would be males instead of females, because we normally, when we eat cow, it's usually female. When we eat chicken, it's a female, and so on and so forth. So I was thinking, I've never heard of it. Maybe there is one out there. I don't know. But I was thinking, let's open a restaurant that's called Alpha, and all the animals are male. So it's only eating male animals. I don't know. Any investors out
Probably
there?
get a lot of feminists to support this.
It would be interesting to see if there's any investors out there that would like to open an Alpha restaurant. But yeah,
Woman-run, woman-owned restaurant.
well, that already exists, because basically every restaurant right now is selling you meat from a female animal. Most animal, cow, pork, it's usually the female. It's the tastiest one. You could even argue that that's the same in humans. Oh boy, I'm gonna get in trouble with that. So Mike, we're coming almost at the end. I want to thank you for coming, bringing Pistolina wine. It was truly enjoyable.
Yes, we downed that wine is.
Yeah,
it was
next
really
time bring
tasty.
2 or 3 bottles. I think
Yes.
one bottle was not enough.
It was like a big tease.
It was a
this is part of the
huge
conversion
tease.
Yeah,
process.
that is definitely step one of the conversion process.
Yes. Oh man.
So I want to thank you for coming out, taking your time to come and talk to us about your company and the Pistolina. We are having March the 29th.
Yep.
March
Friday.
the 29th, we're having a barbecue at Gaucho Ranch. It's going to start at 6 o'clock, 6 or 7?
6.
It's 6 o'clock. We're going to have some grass-fed meat.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have the Pistolina. Wine is going to be there. The first glass is going to be on the house.
Yep.
How much do you usually it runs for that more or less?
When restaurants sell it by the glass, it's usually priced between $25 and $30 a glass.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good.
Okay.
It's a great. I mean, again, I'm not a great wine drinker, but that's something that I would definitely drink in a meal, especially with meat. I heard that wine and meat go really well together. They break down the fat, and it does help with digestion. So it's definitely something to do. Mike will be there with the Pistolina. We'll definitely have great meat. Herman will also be there if you want to hear more about the carnivore and his 20-second workout. 20-second, 22-second. How often?
22 seconds.
22 seconds. That's a fast workout. 22 seconds every 5 seconds. I didn't press the button. There you go. I got to get better at this shit. So next time I'm going to remember how to record it. Mike, thank you very much for being here. Herman, thank you very much.
Thank you for
I
having
want
us.
to thank everybody for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you.